Hello YouTube, not a lot going on today, just doing water changes, getting ready to be gone for the weekend. Normally I do my water changes on the weekend, so I'm doing them right now. Gotta clean some filters. I'm gonna try to paint the background of that 55-gallon tank that I'm gonna be using for my African cichlids, and hopefully find something interesting along the way. So I'm just doing a water change in this 40-gallon tank here. It's got the bloodfin tetras. Last time I did a water change, I forgot to put the top back on and ended up with 6 of them jumping out, so that kind of sucked. It's twice I've done that now. I started with 25, so I'm down to about 15. Let's see if I can spot any plecos. What do you guys think? Do you think I need a pre-filter sponge there? Probably. It's probably why I kill all my hang-on back filters, because I don't put sponges on them. But you can see the Corey's kind of spazzing out there. Not seeing any plecos though. Well, that's alright. I'm going to clean out this filter. Probably won't show it because it's just a dirty mess. But definitely got to get a sponge on that intake. So I did manage to get a sponge here. Opening's a little small, so I'm going to have to probably rip it open, or I might have to cut it open. You might notice I got a little deal going on right here. My female Nicolesi was beat up pretty good by the male, so I got her separated into that floating net, which I really like. Oh yeah, right over it now. Oh, that should work. Now if I can get it back on, have to dig out some sand. Probably another reason why my hang on the back filters always fail. Sucks up all this sand, but I do always clean out the impellers, so it's not like I'm skipping regular maintenance on these things. Notice I dropped this down to about 50%. That's normal in this tank, as it has a pretty big bioload with all the plecos and corridoras in there. So lots of catfish means big bioload. So I did find a leopard pleco, and of course you always got to get these on cam when you see them because they are amazing. That is a good looking fish right there. So, well, there went the light. I did make a pretty big error. It's not something I normally do, but you can see this Corey here has that nice white fungus on his nose. So I have been treating this tank because of that, and now I can't do any other water changes because I don't want to cross-contaminate any of my tanks with what might be going on in here. Now he could just be rubbing his nose against something in here. The sand is pretty soft, so it's not the sand. But I'm not going to risk it, so looks like I'm only doing one water change today. Which kind of sucks, but I guess that'll give me time to paint the 55-gallon. So let's go do that. Alright, so I've gone over this before on my channel, but I'll go over it again because I have a lot more subscribers. Maybe you haven't seen the video, most likely not. So this is what I use to paint my backgrounds. You can see that, it's just Plastidip. You can get it at Home Depot or most any hardware store, even Amazon, but it tends to be a bit more expensive on Amazon, although I haven't checked it in a while. So what I have is just a cup of hot water, and all you have to do is just sit it in there and let it sit there for a few minutes. And what that's going to do is when you go to spray it, so it's going to give you that fine mist instead of that clumpy spray you kind of get every once in a while. So you just got to sit here, let it warm up. Well, this is basically the worst conditions ever to be doing this. It's cold, it's windy, and it's raining. Hopefully I don't get any overspray on my car, but it's Plastidip, it'll just peel off. Now if you're new to this, you're probably going to want to lay this down flat and do top down. So if you do it this way and you use too much, you're going to get runs. Now I've done this enough that I don't have to worry about it. Basically, when you do it standing up like this, you just want to get really small amounts at first. You're going for about 50% opacity. Is that the word I'm looking for? Now obviously you don't have to worry too much because this is just an aquarium background. And you're not going to see a lot of runs from the other side. But still like to do it right. I guess the nice thing about the wind, it will help it dry faster. I've already wiped down the glass. You can see how fine the spray is coming out. That's because we warmed it up first. And now you can kind of barely see through it. I would say this is probably a little more than 50%. Alright, now we just gotta let that first layer dry. And when this dries, we'll be able to come back and just spray as much as we want, and we won't have to worry about runs. So checking back in, it's been about 45 minutes. It's not completely dry, but it is nice and tacky. And what that's going to do for us, it's really going to let us just spray this on nice and thick and not get any runs. So the reason you go with that 50% opacity is because it now gives something for this to bond to, adhere to. So now we won't get the runs. We can just really go at it now. See? And just like that, you got a painted background, painted vertically, no problems at all. I'm going to go ahead and finish up on the rest. Alright, so here we are back in my garage. Still wet, you can kind of see right here, it's still a little wet. But what a beautiful paint job, don't you think? All black. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Bob, this is a background to an aquarium. And this is the back of the aquarium. No one's ever going to see it, so who cares about runs? Well, I still do. It's still good practice to do things right. And if you use Plastidip, you might end up like me and turn into just a Plastidip nerd and use it on everything, because I love this stuff now. And there's still some helpful tips in there. For instance, what if your aquarium's already set up and you just want to slide it out and paint the back? You know, things like that. Paint the sides. If you're ever in a situation where you can't lay it on the front and paint the back and give a nice paint job, now you know how to do it without having to do all that. So there, take that. Alright, so that's going to do it for this video. I hope you learned something. It's always fun bringing everyone along. I know I still had fun, even though I kind of ruined my day of water changes, and now I'm going to have to do that tomorrow. I know some of you might have been looking forward to seeing my 55-gallon cichlid setup. That video is not coming out until Friday, because as you just saw, the tank's not even ready yet. So I'll let that dry overnight, then maybe put another coat on tomorrow, possibly. I don't know, we'll see how it looks. But let's get right to the channel of the day. So today's channel, I'm going right to Kyle's Wild World, who had a channel. He got up to 500 subscribers, deleted it, he's back. He bought one of my t-shirts, he tie-dyed it, the thing looks insane, and he has made me jealous of my own t-shirt. So head on over there, Kyle's Wild World. It should be popping up anytime now, and I will see everyone tomorrow.